This is Austin St. John, Jason, the original Red Ranger. You are watching the Morphin Network.
This Morphin Network video is sponsored by Ranger Stop Convention and Ranger Stop and Pop. Have you ever wanted to see all your favorite Power Rangers together in one epic convention? Go to Ranger Stop! Ranger Stop and Pop! August 27th to the 29th, 2021! Atlanta, Georgia! Ranger Stop 8! November 11th to the 14th! Orlando, Florida! Get your tickets now! Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
By the power of the pyramids, I summon the ultimate weapon! Hey guys, welcome to Rider Time Podcast. Yes, I am reading The Secret Within Me by Liana Ramirez, whom we've recently interviewed, and I highly suggest checking out her book and sticking to the theme of this week's episode of the Rider Time Podcast. Liana, if you're watching this, make a sequel. People love a trilogy. People love a trilogy. So, moving on. Welcome everyone to Rider Time Podcast. Unfortunately, my partner could not make it this week. He's taking a sabbatical, so it's just going to be me holding down the fort. And of course, this week's episode, we are going to be covering none other than we're episode 28 of Kamen Rider Saber. Write the past, draw the future. And of course, I'm your host, Time Rider Zero, aka Mike. Yeah, I did not change the label because I was doing an interview with Stephen Butterworth earlier this week, and that's already up on YouTube, so be sure to check it out. But moving on to the actual episode. But before we do, a bit of housekeeping. Be sure to check out Ranger Podcast Live because the t-shirt contest is still in effect. If you want a chance to win 5 remaining t-shirts, go watch the podcast on Saturdays. Answer the trivia question. First person to answer the question correctly will be able to win a brand new Dino Fury t-shirt featuring presented by Carson's Corner. And this week we're doing the Black Ranger, of course. If you already won the Blue Ranger last week, I'm sorry, you're no longer eligible to win any more t-shirts, but everyone else, you have up to 5 chances to win a t-shirt. So remember, you must attend the podcast, you answer the questions, and email us at morphinnetwork@gmail.com if you win with your address so we could send it out to you. And of course, 1 per customer. So be sure to check that out. Now, as for the episode, we are doing episode 28, and this episode was really exciting. Did it have the momentum of the previous episode? Not quite, but it was still entertaining. So let's get to it. But first, before one last thing, this Saturday is a very big day. Why? Because it is the 50th anniversary of Kamen Rider. That's right. April 3rd, 1971, the show premiered with its very first episode, The Mysterious Spider-Man. And of course, we're almost at 1,500 episodes. And that cake you saw in the picture, I actually got to make it. So, and you could see us blow the candles in an earlier episode when we were doing Kamen Rider O's. So, moving on. So, the episode starts off with the team decompressing from the previous episode because, Toma finally tamed the primitive dragon, and everyone is jovial about it because it's an ultimate power that previously could not be controlled. And of course, Toma finally tamed it, which means he can go back to fighting the front lines. But there's still some issues that we have to deal with, such as the issues involving the Southern Temple and how the Master Logos is being sus, Reika's being sus, and so on and so forth. And speaking of the Southern base, Master Logos is doing that Willem Dafoe face. So, we got some fighting to do. Meanwhile, after the theme song plays, we got May trying to talk to her boss, and she says, the last book that Toma made, The Lost Memories, that book was really great. Can you ask him to do a sequel? And she's like, I don't know. By the way, May, you look different. You seem a lot stronger. And she recollects, well, I did survive getting bat slapped into the sky by Zuos, and I survived an explosion from the Naked King episode. So, yeah, maybe I did get stronger. Who knows? Meanwhile, Toma recollects why might Kento try to turn heel and why he's getting those visions. And then he remembers how the previous Caliber told him that there is a traitor in the Sword of Logos, and he wanted to save the world by becoming Caliber. So there must be a reasoning behind why Caliber has those visions. And of course, Yuri explains to the group, yeah, so you know how there's a bunch of rider books? Well, originally they were supposed to be distributed amongst everyone. They were originally pages of the Book of Origin, and the individual pages turned into the Wonder Ride books that we know now. Unfortunately, they could be brought back together in order to assemble Ultimate Power. And that is why they've been split into two groups. Now, here's the thing. Master Logos, he can make executive decisions all on his own. He does have 4 council members shown here who are supposed to help make executive decisions. So there is a possibility that there's more corruption going on than before. Meanwhile, Rintaro and Ren are trying to contemplate what is going on with Kento because they used to see Kento as their best friend, but now they have to fight him. Even Reika told them that he's an enemy, whether or not he's back or whether or not he's trying to fight Toma as well. And Ren, he just couldn't believe it because Kento was a senpai. You can't just fight the person you've always looked up to. But of course, back in the northern base, May tries to ask Toma if he could make a sequel to his first book, and he says, well, yeah, we may be busy. Thank you for being sensitive about all the drama I have to deal with, but I will write that sequel and I'm going to make it about us, because it is our friendship that is powering my stories, and it's our friendship that's going to be the sequel. Of course, the first book I had, it was inspired by my childhood when I first met Luna, and of course, she was the reason why I've wanted to become a writer in the first place. And I don't know why I lost memories, but apparently during that incident several years ago with Daichi, I somehow lost my memories of everything. But somehow the visions of Wonderworld still came back to me, and that is why I decided to become a writer. And that was the inspiration for the Lost World. And I got to fill my dream of owning my own bookstore. So great job, Velma Dinkley from Scooby-Doo on Zombie Island. Just because I don't have my partner with me doesn't mean I can't make obscure references on this podcast. And of course, Toma recollects how things finally came full circle when he found his Wonder Ride book and he got to transform for the first time. So, you got that going on. And of course, Yuri explains how through the Wonder Ride books were originally based on the original pages of the Book of Origin, and the Book of Origin was supposed to be could be reassembled if if the Wonder Ride books are combined. But the thing is that it's too dangerous, which is why it's separated into separate bases. And of course, the Magids they're able to create artificial Wonder Ride books, which is the Alter books. And he even explains how by using the pages of the Alter books, they are able to take parts of the real world into the Wonder World, and the very destruction of the real world is what creates the Alter books. And of course, here we see Story is having a lot of them, and of course, Zuos just revels in, it sucks that Legenial is dead, but look at this Magid I created. He is so much more loyal than Disaster. Who needs Disaster when I got this guy? And of course, while you can't see the Magid's face, but it is blushing. You don't see the actual reading, but it's blushing on the inside. Meanwhile, at the Sword of Logos base, you got Reika talking to Master Logos, and he reveals that yes, originally, Toma having the power of the primitive dragon was part of his plan, and it was part of his plan because he wants to collect all the Wonder Ride books, and part of that plan involves Toma being made to look out like a traitor, and that would cause him to become more powerful. And somehow him becoming more powerful is going to assemble all the Wonder Ride books in one place somehow. I'm not 100% sure about how that plan's coming together because some plans are really convoluted. Don't believe me? Watch Batman v Superman and Captain America Civil War. Both villains' plans in those movies are very convoluted and run on coincidence. And of course, we actually see the final rider in the show. We got Kamen Rider Durandal, who turns out to be Reika's brother, and we see his sword. And according to scans, his sword has the power of time. So expect a lot of Clock Up, Zawardo, Tokyo Tomare, Puoi cantare canzoni di tristezza nel mondo senza tempo, for all you Kamen Rider and JoJo fans alike. And for the first time in the show, we see something that we never thought we'd ever see, which makes it creepy because of the fact that we never see it. Reika smiling. Oh my god. Reika smiling. I never thought I would actually see this. And we're so used to her looking suspicious that I never imagined I would ever see this. And this looks totally creepy and out of character for her. So, big brother, I love you, all that stuff. That's kind of a weird trope in Japanese media where people really looked fondly onto their older siblings. But moving on, Ren, he tries to track down Kento. And he's like, hey, big brother Kento, what's up? I've missed you. Where have you been? Now that you're back, we can finally be friends again. Let's fight together. Let's spar. Let's become stronger because we bros. We love hanging out and whatnot. And Kento says, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to have to steal your sword. And it's like, what? Yeah, I'm going to steal your sword. I told everyone, I'm going to steal all the swords. And since you decided to be dumb enough to come here by yourself, you're next. And of course, they get into a fight because Ren could not believe that his big bro is being a jerk, and a fight ensues. And of course, while that's going on, we suddenly see Disaster show up. And I'm thinking, where the heck have you been? He keeps showing up in and out of nowhere, seemingly randomly. I'm really curious to where Disaster has been. And of course, at first he thinks, hold on, Caliber? I thought I killed him. Wait, hold on. He smells like the Lightning Boy. Oh my god, it is the Lightning Boy. Things are getting interesting. things are getting interesting. Of course, the fight ensues, and Ren gets washed. And not just washed, he gets really washed. And of course, his book gets sealed. His saber gets sealed, just like Suzune, which of course prompts me to make the. Hold on, my bad. And that prompts me to make the obligatory Suzune! Why can't I hear you, Suzune? Okay, now that that's out of the way, of course, of course, Toma shows up, and using Elemental Dragon, he does fight back against Kento, and he's doing a great job at it. Like, he's using all the elements. He's got fire and water and lightning and wind and sound and earth, and I'm like, so is this like his final form? Because I'm pretty sure there's going to be at least one more form later on, like around anywhere between episodes 32 and 40. So, but this looks powerful enough already to be its final form. So what's going on here? Of course, naturally, Kento gets defeated, surprisingly enough, but also not surprisingly, it is a new power. And he recalls, listen, my father, he had the same vision that I had. He of the earth being destroyed unless I see all the books away. That is why he turned to making a heel turn. But the thing is, the way he did it was all wrong. So he never got to see his goal accomplished. But I will get it accomplished. And of course, he walks off while Ren is down on his feet, and Kento and Mei are not Kento, Toma and Mei are watching. So, it's a bittersweet victory, but one that ends with Ren losing his powers, just like Tetsuo. So, you win some, you lose some. Meanwhile, Mei looks up in the sky and sees the Wonder World. And of course, it disappears briefly. So she's thinking, must be seeing things. Of course, this is suspicious because you know what that means. If she can see Wonder World, that means she could easily be targeted by the Magids and be turned into a Magid herself. And I'm thinking, this is definitely Chekhov's gun. This has to be a Chekhov's gun. If she can see Wonder World, that means she will be turned into a monster of the week. And I'm pretty sure that's somehow going to tie into either Rintaro getting a new form or Toma getting a final form. And given the scans we've seen, I'm pretty sure something like that's going to happen. And who knows? Maybe that is how Rintaro is going to have to fight her in order to get a new form. And then he'll use that new form to fight Zuos. Or the other way around, because if you remember, Zuos's Magid form is a white tiger wolf looking thing. It's more like a tiger, to be honest, with like blue edging. And of course, Rintaro's new form is going to look like that too. So I'm thinking he might have to kill Zuos to get that new form. And then he's going to have to fight Mei. Who knows? Place your bets now, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know in the comments what you think. And of course, while everyone's thinking, well, now given what's happening, there's no way Tomo could write a sequel now. And of course, someone says, no, this is even more reason why I have to write my sequel. But of course, Mr. Ominous Red Hood it says, I've got the ultimate book right here in my hands. My plan is working perfectly. And of course, we end the episode there with previews of Kamen Rider Durandal making his debut in his full suit. So I'm curious how that's going to play out. More importantly, I can't wait to see how Smoke and how Sabia and Durandal are going to fight together, because they're brother and sister. It would be cool to see how they fight together. And also, given the fact that she could disassemble her body into smoke and then reassemble it elsewhere, in a way, you could say she's Swordsman of Space. So you got Swordsman of Time, Swordsman of Space insert Pokemon reference here. And of course, that is the end of episode 28. Write the past, draw the future. So, guys, let me know what you think in the comments of what you think of the episode. Did you like the episode? What do you think will happen next? Me, I'm going to start going to my analysis. This episode was great. Not as good as the previous episode, but still great. We're getting some progress, and we do see some new revelations involving the Sword of Logos, in that we finally see who the other writer is. We finally see more Southern writers. And of course, we want to know what the end game is going to be in their attempt to, collect their books. And they've already collected a lot of the books already. And let's see, going further along, going further in, I'm curious how May being able to see Wonderworld is going to play into things. Choreography still good. Nothing to write home about, but still good. I love that Toma could use all the elements, and seeing Ren get creamed gives a little bit of satisfaction. But the fact that it's from Caliber makes it less satisfying, because I'd rather Toma watch him. Let's be honest. So I know someone's happy with this episode. At least I know one person that's at least happy with this episode. As for the plot, again, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with May, with the fact that she can see Wonderworld. I'm curious to see how it's going to play into later revelations of what they're going to do with Storias, what they're going to do with Zuos, what's Ren going to do. I'm curious about a lot of stuff. It did not do as much as the previous episode did, but it left me with enough to want to see what happens next. So let's see what happens next episode, next week. And of course, so I give this episode a 9 out of 10. It could be better, it could be worse, let's see. And of course, I can't wait to read the book if he ever makes one. And of course, speaking of books being read by characters from Tokusatsu, be sure to check out The Secrets Within Me by Liana Ramirez, which we here in Morphin Network did interview. And also, don't forget, this Saturday is Kamen Rider's 50th anniversary, so that's something to celebrate. And also on Saturday, be sure to watch Ranger Podcast Live, where we're gonna do week 2 of our t-shirt contest. If you answer a trivia question that we're gonna ask on the podcast first, you will have a chance to win the Black Ranger t-shirt by Carson's Corner. If you didn't win last week's or this week's, we'll have 4 more t-shirts in subsequent weeks. But this week we're doing the black t-shirt. Last week we did Blue Ranger. And of course, if you won the blue t-shirt last week, you're not eligible this week. I'm sorry, but only one per customer. And so be sure to check that out. And of course, get us to 1,500 follows on YouTube. Sorry, subscribes on YouTube, so we could do another dance. And time for the best part of every show. Comment section time. Thank you, YouTube and Facebook, for watching Writer Time Podcast. We appreciate your comments and all your love and support. So we're gonna so let's hear what you guys have to say. So Parathamesh said hi. Hey, how you doing? Fox Ranger says, hello guys. I barely finished binge watching Power Rangers RPM. General Crunch is my favorite villain. He's kind of reminds me of Frax from Time Force. Actually, the gold dude is more like Frax. Actually, you know what? What's it called? That hair razor guy is more of a is more like Frax, because he's conniving. You gotta love. And of course, you know who says hiya. If Toma gets a final form, ooh mama. I just hope Toma kicks Reika and her brother's butts into next year. Yeah, but I still want to see how well they dominate. Obviously, I'm pretty sure that he will have the ability to either stop or rewind time, and somehow that's going to play into Toma having to learn a special skill in order to gaining a new sword or new form, new writer book in order to defeat Durandal. I am cheesed as I am about Ren insulting my hottie. I felt bad that Kento sealed the sword away. Uh, yeah, it's kind of like that episode of The Office where, Nellie begs for mercy. So you can't have that bit of revenge when Andy becomes manager again. And yes, only here can you hear us make Dragon Ball Z, The Office, King of the Hill, and other obligatory references. No Kingdom Hearts for me, guys. Sorry. I hope May doesn't turn into a monster. I'm almost certain that she will turn into a monster. I'm almost certain all y'all gonna owe me another $5 if she does. I'm putting my money on that right now. Uh, it was so cool that Kento and Luna inspired Toma to be a writer. Yes, yeah, it's great when people inspire others to become a writer because, because if you check out the intro for this book by Liana Ramirez, she actually brings up her inspirations, and I think, hold on, acknowledgement. Give me a second. I remember there was something bad here. Let's see. Anywho, but definitely check out the book. I'm not going to spoil anything. Let's see. I can't wait to see how Tomo's book is done. Me neither. Actually, it'd be great if they actually published those books and translated them into English. I wouldn't mind reading those. Yeah. Hold on. And then Fox Ranger. It would have been cool if Evox from Beast Morphers bought back his old generals from RPM. It would, but it would be redundant because it's stock footage and whatnot. $5, yes, $5. That's our thing. That's our thing. We like whenever we predict something and we got something right, $5. Speaking of which, a certain friend of Leo's still owe $bucks. Goku ain't gonna be in Smash. And in case you're wondering where Leo is, he's not here. He's taking a sabbatical. And of course, that's it for the comments. Thank you everyone for watching our podcast. I'm Mike, aka Time Rider Zero, and you could find me on Instagram at chrono_just_cosplay, and you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/BokenKabuto. And of course, if you like Rider Time podcast, be sure to follow, like, and subscribe on us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And be sure to check out our other shows like Ranger Podcast Live, where we review Beast Morphers, Super Sentai Special, where Quasar Red and Red Star are reviewing Zenkaiger, which recently came out, the 45th anniversary season of Super Sentai. And of course, once a month we got Ranger Comic time with the ladies, where they review the comics. And of course, we got tons and tons of interviews, both on Facebook, premiering on Facebook, and then specially uploaded on YouTube later on. Recently, we just uploaded my interview with Stephen Butterworth, aka Prince Vicar, on YouTube. So be sure to check that out. Be sure to check out all our past interviews with Ranger actors, voice actors, etc., and of course other members of the Ranger fan community on Facebook and on YouTube. And later tonight, we are going to have a Q&A with none other than veteran voice actor Campbell Cooley, who aka Cosmo Royale and Scrozzle. So be sure to check that out later, right here on both YouTube and on Facebook on Morphin Network. So be sure to ding that bell icon so to make sure you get notified when that comes up. And of course, that's pretty much it for our show. And hold on. I think we got one more comment. Yeah, and of course, be sure to check out Carson's Corner, because we are having that contest. So see you all on Saturday. And of course, what can I say but game on. See you next game.
Kyono Kamen Rider wa.
Kamen Rider X-Aid. Kamen Rider X-Aid aired on October 2nd, 2016 for 45 episodes.
An outbreak of computer viruses known as bugsters have infected humans on a biological level.
To combat the bugsters, a special hospital wing in collaboration with Genmu Corp was invented where doctors use video game skills to operate on their patients.
Pediatrician Emu Hojo is a legendary gamer who became Kamen Rider X-Aid with the abilities based on platform fighter games.
The gamer doctors must level up to protect humanity and uncover the secrets behind the Gemu Corp.
Yeah, I got you now, homie.
Fuck up.
Hold up. No.
Tokyo Tomare.
Why is time slowing down?
Because I'm Kabuto.
Why is time...
Rider kick!
You are garbage!
Yes! I'll see you all next game.
Carson's Corner is a black LGBTQ-owned small business. They sell merchandise and apparel on pop culture franchises such as Dragon Ball, King of the Hill, Sailor Moon, and of course and most importantly, Power Rangers. If you're interested in getting their amazing merch, be sure to check them out at carsoncorner.com. Link will be down below.
Today's Morphin Network video is sponsored by Ranger Stop and Pop, which is now August the 27th to the 29th, 2021 in Atlanta, Georgia. And Ranger Stop Convention, which is now November 11th to the 14th, 2021 in Orlando, Florida. Go to rangerstop.com for more info.